social metaphysicians end up in the, but they've developed, like, the whole news cycle is about the government. Open up the New York Times, open up the Drudge Report, open up Fox, open up the Huffington Post. It's all about either the government or entertainment or health or whatever. Then the stuff, it's politics. The opinion stuff is all about politics. All these people do is talk about politics. That's not a conversational topic. That's who they are as human beings. Political junkies, political animals, people with political contacts, people whose value as employees, as reporters, is their inside, many years cultivated political contacts. So, of course, I mean, they're going to slander anyone who threatens their many decades developed livelihood. What would they write about if they weren't writing about the government? Most mainstream reporters will respond to questions of the government's value and efficacy like sports reporters saying, let's shut down sports. What are they going to write about? Chickens? I don't know. Right? They have nothing to write about. What are people going to talk about if they don't have sports, the weather, government, voting, the news cycle? What are they going to talk about? They actually have to talk about something they think and feel rather than something they read about stuff other people are doing. Nobody wants that. Very few people do. So that's why I'm saying it's so deeply embedded. It's a multi-generational process. If you accept that, and if you accept that people aren't going to get what they deserve economically, but they are going to get what they deserve psychologically, because all virtuous people who've got any kind of balls and or spine, all virtuous people want to see bad people suffer. There, I said it. No, it's not a shock. I've said it before. We all want bad people to get theirs. And I'll tell you, they won't get it economically. Clintons, they make a fortune. Like Bill Clinton gets like, what, $250,000 for a speech? And then he gives half of that back so he can grow up the front row. Because, you know, he's all about the charity. Economically speaking, these people will make a fortune. There are two ways in which they'll suffer. The first way is that they just have no connection with people. They're power junkies, right? So there's this hollowness, this emptiness, this fundamental discontent, which is why they always want more power. Now, the second way they'll suffer, which they have no clue about yet, is that in the future, they will be listed among the grand criminals of history. Right? And they don't know that yet, and it'll take a while, but Genghis Khan was a hero to his compatriots, and now he's just this semen and blood-spraying monster, right? Hitler got his votes, and everyone cheered him, and now he's the primo monster of history. I mean, again, I'm not saying these people are exactly the same as Hitler or Genghis Khan, but what I am saying is that now they're praised, but when a profoundly sick and immoral culture praises someone, in the future, when people have woken up to more compassion, more sanity, more empathy, more principles, they will not land in the same pages, in the same position of the history books of the future than they do of the present. So what I'm saying is that it's not going away anytime soon. Pay the tax they make you pay. Don't pay the tax that's optional. And expecting something to change when people are so deeply embedded in the matrix that, as the movie says, they will fight to the death to defend it, is important. Irrational expectations are at the root of most human suffering. That is not sort of directly physical, you stubbed your toe or whatever. But irrational expectations. We want people to be empirical. We must be empirical about people. We must accept and reference and continually process the information that people are continually providing back to us. Everybody is completely honest about who they are. Nobody can hide anything from anyone whose eyes are even a little bit open, and people are being continual. How many times do you have a successful conversation about freedom and peace with people?
Not often. I have a few people, but not often at all. And I'm aware of that, and I appreciate everything you just said. But the thing that gets me so angry. Is this is my one shot at life. I mean, this is it, and I got to live it in this kind of world, and it is frustrating. And they can take my damn money. I don't care. But when I have 3 kids, and that's what really has been bothering me lately. Is everyone's asking me when you send them to school, and I don't trust a lot of these people to not push the issue or call CPS, and I'll be damned if these people get a hold of my children.
Right. Are you in a place where you have to send your kids to school?
No, I'm in a state that's very homeschool friendly, but most of the time,
Okay. Okay.
right.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so we live mentally in the future, which makes the present more difficult. People who live in the present have a much easier time, but conformity to the present is invisibility to the future, as I've said before. But if you look back through history, can you think of a time when you would rather be alive and be a father?
Every day.
Okay, so which century would you rather
Oh,
be
I'm sorry.
alive and be a father in?
Sorry. I misunderstood your question. Would you mind repeating
Okay,
it?
well, now you understand it, and maybe
Right.
you can answer it.
No. This is
Okay,
the time.
which decade or century would you rather be a father
No,
in?
I'd rather be a father today.
Right. I mean, infant mortality, typhus, cholera, diphtheria. I mean, it was war, right? I mean, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be a father in the late 19th century with World War One about to draft kids, right?
Right.
Or World War Two, or Vietnam, or you name it, right? So I will make. I don't think I need to make a very strong case, but I think that the strongest case to be made is that this is, out of all the times in human history, the very best time to be alive. Now, 500 years from now, okay, yeah, fine. But that's not really a choice we have at the moment, right? Neither is there, of course, a choice to live in the past. But there is no better time to be alive. Statistically, factually, there is no better time to be alive. And it's hard to feel hard done by when you have won the time lottery of the last 4 billion years. Right? We have won the time lottery of the last 4 billion years. 20 years ago, I probably would have been dead last year. We have won the time lottery of the past 4 billion years. Of course, there's work to be done. Of course, there's things that need to be improved. But we do not live in a theocracy. We do not live in a dictatorship. We do not live in a time of famine or plague or pestilence or war. There are not bombs dropping on us. My mother was born in Germany, in Berlin, but she then grew up in Dresden in 1937 with a Jewish background. That is not winning the lottery of the last 4,000 years, right? Or 4 billion years. But we in the West, we in the free world, we with all of these tools and these capacities and the ability to bypass the gatekeepers and bring a message to mankind that has literally been suppressed for 100,000 years, the message of peace and reason and freedom and cooperation and voluntarism, we have an unprecedented capacity to bring our message to humanity. Finally, after 100,000 years, we have an even playing field between reason and illusion, because the gatekeepers always keep reason at bay, and direct communication is where reason connects to people. And you and I can have this conversation, and there's no one in the way. And people can listen to this conversation for free, virtually, throughout the world, with no one in the way. If I can't be happy for that opportunity, then I have a standard for happiness that will render me permanently miserable. What do you think?
I think I agree with you.
Joy to the world. Joy in combat. Listen, you sound like a mildly ornery person. Am I way off the mark?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that.
Mildly combative, a little frustrated,
I
a
am a
little
very
punchy.
angry person.
Okay, I didn't want to be the first one to say it, but if you say it, there we go. So you're a very angry person, right? And I'm sorry for the anger, but if you are an angry person, this is a pretty good time to be alive. Because you can be angry without being killed. Hey, try being angry at the Nazis or Stalin, right? I mean, your ass is dumped in an open grave, right? Try being angry at the Catholic Church in the 13th century. I mean, you're up in flames, right? So we can be angry and we can express our anger without actually getting killed, and in a way which can help the world. Our anger, this is the best time to be angry in the history of the world. Doesn't get us killed, and it's not futile. It can change the world, right? Embrace the dark side. It's what I'm trying to say.
I guess I still feel
The
like
only
there's no. Go ahead.
the only thing that's sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. You go ahead.
Well, the only thing that's bad about the modern world is it's a really, really, really shitty time to be a coward. It's a really shitty time to be ignorant. Because with this sum total of human knowledge available at any free computer in a library, it's a really shitty time to be ignorant. You know, 12th century, yeah, books cost the price of a house. I get it, right? It's tough to learn. And, you know, you got rabies and the plague and war. Yeah, okay, I get it, right? You got 19 kids. The priest won't let you put on a sheep's bladder condom or whatever the hell they used. So I get it. In the past, yeah, it was okay to be ignorant. It was okay to be a coward because so much faced you, right? Now, what faces people who do good? Typing. That guy, he's sock puppeting his own YouTube account. That's my moral mission today. Because all of the other ills of the world has been dealt with. I'm going to type about Stefan Molyneux sock puppeting his own YouTube account. Ha! Got him! Victory for virtue! Right, so it's a really bad time to be an inconsequential coward in the modern world, right? Because we really don't face that many negative consequences for passionately speaking the truth to the world, right? Mm-hmm. But people might type things. I mean, good. Good. I don't care what you write about me. Just spell my name right. So it's a bad time to be a coward, and it's a bad time to be ignorant. But for everything else, virtue, courage, taking on the bad guys, giving a boost to the good guys, helping people steel up their spine, it's a glorious time. This time will never come again. Because the first opportunity for courage, the first time that the gates of culture open wide and allow the courageous blue-painted Britannic assholes to come swarming through, screaming their barbaric yawps of truth to a shocked and occasionally uncomprehending world, those gates will never, ever, ever open again from the tomb-like silence of reason that history has littered itself with. These gates which allow us to speak, these gates which allow us to reason, these gates that allow us to speak to the world, they have opened once in human history, and it will never happen again. Because everything that comes after this comes after those gates have opened. And so everyone who comes after this comes after the first people through the gates have had the courage to speak the truth. And everyone who comes after us will stand on our shoulders. So I think, even if I could choose any time in history to be alive, even the paradise of the future, I might still choose today.
So can I give you an example of something I saw today that will tie back with something you said earlier, and maybe it can help me? So
Sure.
Yeah, so I saw a bumper sticker, right, that said "Don't tread on my Obamacare," and just I got such a visceral, anger at just seeing those words like that. Is that because I have unrealistic expectations of people, and that's why I get so viscerally angry at something like that?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a completely irrational statement, right? I mean, I just did the Peter Schiff show talking about how women consider
Yeah,
birth control to be a healthcare
but it's the
essential,
irrationality of it that gets me
right?
so
Because
angry. But it's also I feel it's an attack on me because I'm being taxed to pay for their Obamacare. And then it's also a slam on the "Don't tread on me," which,
no, 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 no,
right?
no, no. Listen, no, 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 no. If a sadist tortures you, it's not personal. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They don't sit there and say, "I'm getting that guy." You know, they're just like free shit, yay, right? And they've been taught their whole lives that free shit is their birthright as idiots and voters. Well, I repeat myself, right? But they've been told their whole life that they're entitled to it, that they deserve it, that the system is broken, that Obama is fixing it, that they have a right to health care, but that other people, other countries in the world all have free health care and the American system is broken and blah, 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 right? So what would you expect? Again, the propaganda
Right.
works. 12 years of government indoctrination, it kind of works. Endless amounts of media indoctrination, it works. Movies, television shows, they all work. That's why they do it, because it works. And so the fact that there's a sticker, it's sort of like getting really angry at someone for being a communist in Russia in 1952. What else do they know? What else have they heard? And haven't they had the living shit and brain matter propagandized right out of their body?
Right. So my expectations would be irrational then.
Well, do you think propaganda works?